Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the greatest recordings ever. And today we're talking about a most unusual work, Sibelius's tone poem, Luonnotar. Now, Luonnotar is a creation myth. It's an 8-minute long creation myth for soprano and orchestra. And Sibelius composed it for the great Finnish soprano Aino Ahte, who was a Salome in her day. She was a dramatic soprano and a powerful singer by all accounts, and she commanded that Sibelius should write an aria for her, and he produced this thing. And a more unusual and extraordinary work no one ever wrote. I mean, it's just amazing. The story is absolutely incomprehensibly weird. Luonnotar is a, earth spirit daughter thing, and she's floating in a vast ocean of nothingness, and some bird is flapping around trying to make a nest, and Luonnotar lifts her leg to build so that she could build her nest and lay her egg, and then she gets all heated up and trembly, and she knocks over the nest, and the egg breaks open, and bits of the egg become, the mottled shell becomes the stars of the heavens, and the yolk and white become the omelet of existence. And who knows? It's ridiculous. But the point is that it inspired some of Sibelius's most primal and fabulous music. I mean, the opening is all, misty uncertainty, and it's created in the simplest possible way with his typical, what they call crossed-hatched string writing, where he's just going chugga 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 with the strings like that, and the whole piece is in absolutely perfect sonata form. Sibelius's tone poems, most of them, are in what Mozart sort of created, that is sonata form without a development section, or slow movement sonata form, where you have a first subject, which is the chugga 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 like that, and then you have a second subject, which is this really spooky that sort of thing. It's the spooky bit, and then they just recapitulate, but they recapitulate in an expanded and developed way. So you get a certain amount of development. They're reworked, as it were, and often expanded or extended, instead of having like a formal development section. That's all Luonnotar is. And the ending comes quite abruptly, as it often does with Sibelius, with the spooky bit as the voice simply dissolves into a high note on the violins. I mean, it's just one of the most haunting pieces you'll ever hear, and it doesn't get performed very often. I mean, it requires large orchestral forces, 2 harps, 2 sets of timpani, and a full orchestra with bass clarinet and all piccolos and all that stuff. And it's short, and you need a soprano who's going to learn to sing it in Finnish. I have to say, we did it in my community orchestra. We found a willing soprano with a wonderful voice. She was a budding dramatic soprano, and she went to the Finnish consulate and she learned the damn thing, and she sang it, and it was absolutely wonderful, absolutely amazing. A lot of sopranos have recorded it. It's not unknown on disc in collections of either Sibelius songs or the tone poems. But it's very difficult. It's extremely difficult to sing. I mean, the range is huge. The intervals are weird. You have to snatch high notes out of nowhere when you're doing like the bird going, it's hard. It's really hard. So it requires a voice of great purity and precision and like perfect pitch. And for my taste, most sopranos who undertake it are kind of, sort of wobbly a little bit. They don't get it. I mean, Soilius-Sikorsky was a good modern person who did it. However, the performance that is unquestionably the greatest ever was this one, always. Phyllis Bryn-Julson with Alexander Gibson and the Scottish National Orchestra. Now, Gibson and the Scottish National Orchestra, of course, are a known quantity, particularly in Sibelius. They do fabulous Sibelius. And Phyllis Bryn-Julson may not be as well known as she deserves to be. She specialized in contemporary music. Why did she specialize in contemporary music? Because she had a voice of great purity and dead-on perfect pitch. so she could sing microtonal, atonal, whatever, just snatch those notes out of thin air. Those are exactly the qualities you need for an effective performance of Luonnotar. But she also had the volume, the amplitude, and she was by no means a cold singer. I mean, she had a wonderful, beautiful voice. And she just blows it away. It was really remarkable because I always loved the work, and I knew, many recordings of it. I mean, there was Leonard Bernstein and Phyllis Curtin, which is kind of interesting. I mean, Phyllis Curtin being a very smart singer also, and Elizabeth Soderstrom did it with Ashkenazi, and there were the ones in the tone poem collections that came out more recently where they would find a soprano du jour and say, "Hey, go sing Luonnotar." Well, it doesn't work that way. You have to be 120% committed to it, as Bryn-Julson was in this performance. And my God, does she sing. Oh, my God. And Gibson is amazing. It has the best climax. I mean, the big climax occurs at the end of the first subject recapitulation. And Gibson just times it perfectly. Absolutely perfect, with amazing balances, with the two sets of timpani really jamming it on their big climactic roll. I mean, it's not easy to do. For all of its outward simplicity and unassuming,ness, the piece is all atmosphere and color, and you've got to nail it. And Gibson just nails it. And that final note when Julson goes up with the and just dissolves into the high tone of the violins. Oh, it's magical. Absolutely amazing. So it's on Chandos in this collection of Sibelius tone poems. You may be able to download it individually, but do listen to it. It's extraordinary. I guarantee it. And certainly one of the greatest recordings ever. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.